to do all these other things on the side. It just in order to make ends meet, and especially for parents, they say, well, that's really not the way I want my, I want my child to live or have to live, which is certainly valid. But, if we as a society embrace the idea of saying, well, look, you know what, you can have just as viable a career in the arts as you can in all of these other areas, then I mean, look at the possibility and look at what we would create at the opposite end in art.
Absolutely.
As an example, it just it's uninhibited at that point, and I mean, we could do wonderful, wonderful things. So it's very interesting.
Absolutely. You are listening to Our Voices. My name is Natasha Nurse. More with our guest, music director and organist Sean Mays, next on The Voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHPC.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Welcome back to Our Voices on the Voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHPC. My name is Natasha Nurse, and my guest today is music director and organist Sean Mays. So, Sean, you were just telling us, I think that if people can conceptualize the idea that you can have a career in music and also, not starve and be actually able to eat and, God forbid, maybe pay rent, right? What would you say are like important resources for everyone listening who's like, hey there, I play an instrument, or I'm a rapper, what are some of the practical things that people need to do to really make sure that they can have that career that they love, as well as build that lifestyle that they need to live?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, it's interesting now because so much of, as an industry, things have changed so much as far as the use of the internet and being able to really market yourself. And I think that was one of the biggest things that I learned as I was, in starting my career was this idea of being able to really put yourself out there and not be the least bit hesitant about it, and just completely owning who you are and what you have to offer. And I think definitely that's much easier now with the internet. I mean, you can do almost anything online as far as, your own, even creating your own website and not necessarily having to have people pay for this thing. And these are resources, between that and social media. And there's, for musicians specifically, there's sites that you can put your own information up on, and you can, your contact info, as well as your, your material for people to go and explore. I mean, these are just, and this is all stuff for free, right? Which you don't even have to, it's not like carrying around the demo and being to say, hey, it's, you want to listen to my demo tape, or you want to see a copy of this and that, it's definitely very, very, very different. And I think that's a big thing for people to really take advantage of, is to really, really, put yourself out there. And I know it's something hard for me. I still, sometimes in that expression, I'm like, oh, geez, you feel like, you don't want to boast talking about yourself, but it's definitely very important, right? And it's not boasting. It's just, putting yourself out there and saying, who you are and what you have to offer. And absolutely. I think that's a big thing. I think meeting people, just keeping networking going is honestly, I mean, this is an industry of who knows who and networking, right? And that alone will take you I mean, it just does so much. It's quite impressive, actually.
Would you say there's certain sites that are like vital more for the creative artistic community more so than others? And what I mean by that is, so like for me, my line of work, like LinkedIn is my go-to. I'm just a hardcore Facebook fan. Are there certain platforms that like similar, or is are there certain music apps that people can upload their music to that really can help spark the conversation for, freelance work or anything else?
Yeah, well, and I mean, it's so interesting, too, because you really can do it across the board, right? There's tons of music sites. But again, I think it's about not being exclusive, it's amazing sometimes, even just, for me, like, for instance, I don't use Facebook as a marketing tool in the same way that many people who I know, many friends I have in the industry do. They've got pages that are exclusively their professional life, and then they have pages that are their personal life. And I don't necessarily do that. I have my personal page and I use it as a combination of both. But I've had people outreach to me on projects through Facebook alone who've just found me on there and just being open to, again, being available, making yourself available anywhere you can, and sharing that. And that interest will come, right? As long as you're doing work and you're doing great stuff, people get in touch, right? And people want to know more, and it's wonderful, right? That's how word of mouth ends up rolling down the hill. It just picks up more and more steam as you get going.
Absolutely. And I would also love, before we get into the next segment, just mindset, right? What has been something that you've focused on, like having a daily mindset regimen so that you stay focused and you also stay motivated to keep doing what you're doing?
That's a great question. And I mean, certainly I know I don't have all the best answers for it. And I think as artists, we're always trying to figure out, how do we keep a balance on everything in our lives? And one thing that I do that I learned when I went back to do my master's degree in drama college, I keep a journal and I write everything that I do in that journal. And that's, that can be as simple as my grocery list back to people I meet and thoughts and ideas. And I sketch and images and clouds with words in them. And the best part is, and I number all the pages and I go back to it. And what that does for me is, if I have a day where I'm sitting and I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, geez, I don't know what I'm doing or what I want to be doing. And, I can go back to that and say, well, on this date, you had an idea about this, or this date you met this person who might be able to help you with that. Or on this day, you heard about this website where you might be able to start promoting, so it serves as a blank, because I think especially as artists, one of the biggest things is, my brain as an artist is kind of, which is funny as a teacher too, it's just sort of balanced. Teachers are always known for being very, ticking the boxes and everything's, your ducks are on the line. As an artist, it's a very, very different mindset. And that's overgeneralizing, but it's difficult, right? Because you're encouraging that your brain to be creative and free flowing. So just having a spot, a form for yourself where you can go back and do those things, I think is incredibly, incredibly useful. I found that really, really, really wonderful.
I love it.
For me personally.
So everyone listening, go and get a journal today and start documenting. Document. We want to know, what did you eat on Thursday? And, where are you going next week? And, what's your favorite doodle? I love it. So you are listening to our voices on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Natasha Nurse, and my guest today is music director and organist Sean Mays. So now, Sean, before I let you go, and I definitely really, I love talking to you, so this has been really, really riveting. Just a couple of questions, just so, of course, so that people get to know you. So you have to answer them very quickly. They're called rapid fire questions. First one out of the gate, your number one thing on your bucket list.
Oh, geez. Professionally is probably to conduct long term with a national symphony, maybe some sort of some sort of larger orchestral or larger group.
Mm-hmm.
I think personally I've already found it is on my bucket list is to enjoy having a wonderful and loving and supportive family, and that just continues to build and grow as years go on. So
everyone is like listening to, it's so sweet. I love that too much. Okay. Favorite place in the world?
Anywhere I can be that's surrounded in a great place that's surrounded by people who I love, and so ideally sweet. Somewhere warm.
Yeah.
I prefer. That might be a bit ironic coming from Canada, but we do have hot summers as well. So
true.
That's, it's ideally somewhere warm, if that can all happen at the same time.
I like it. Okay. If you were not a music director or organist or educator, what would you be doing?
I'd probably be a politician.
I can't.
I think that's probably the number one thing I've always had. So who knows? Maybe I haven't found it yet. Maybe there's a way of combining those.
Absolutely. You could do a political, musical, like, number thing, right? Like, you could kind of do something there.
And music can be political as well. So that's...
Exactly. Your all-time favorite song?
Oh, geez. I get asked that question so many times, and I think it changes. I think it changes day to day as well as my favorite artist. There's just too. If I was specific, I'd be ruling out too many great possibilities. So anything that makes me, anything that brings me joy and reminds me about why I'm a musician. It can be a favorite.
Okay. And just also for everyone listening and they're like, I love you like I do. How can they get in touch with you? What's the best way to reach you? Please share all the details.
Oh, any way they can, please. I'm again, making yourself available. I'm available on most platforms as well. I've got a website. I've got a website at seanmaysmusic.com. But I'm certainly, I'm on Twitter. I tweet a lot about upcoming work I'm doing and projects that I'm currently working on. And those are probably the two most reliable ways to be in touch. But again, or just an email or a phone call, I think we take that for granted. And I keep that information on my website because there's something very humanizing about knowing that you can just kind of pick up the phone and reach out to somebody. Again, we're all just people, right? So it's about being in touch with one another.
Absolutely. Okay. So also, Sean, can you just so everyone knows, can you spell your name for spell out your website so people can spell it or type it in correctly?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's funny. It's a very basic name, but it's very easy to. You could have multiple spellings for it. It's Sean SEAN and Mays MAY like amazing MAYES music.com.
Perfect.
All one word.
I love it. Awesome. Well, I just thank you so much, Sean, for coming onto the show today. I greatly appreciate you, and I appreciate you sharing your story because you have a voice to definitely share with the world, and I know everyone listening really loved it. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Natasha. Thank you again for the invite. It's been wonderful to be in here today, and I hope that my words have something to share.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sean. All right. So my name is Natasha Nurse. I'm the proud host of Our Voices here on 90.3 WHPC. Our show's creative director is Rudy J. Breedy. Visit nccradio.org, and I'll just say that again, www.nccradio.org for more information. This will be available as a podcast on iTunes, Android Podcasts, and Spreaker. Our Voices is powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon.